Black belts and leadership students, let's talk about peer pressure. Now, we hear such negative things about peer pressure, and most of it is negative, but sometimes there's positive peer pressure too. So I guess it just kind of depends what peers are pressuring us. So if somebody is pressuring you to do better in life, to, get a better education, to do better in school, to make more money, to do whatever it is, that may be a good thing. To lose weight, to get into shape, whatever it might be. That may be a good thing as long as they're not bullying you or humiliating you or something like that. But most of all, peer pressure normally, of what we know it, how we talk about it, is normally negative. And we can avoid that pretty easily. There's 3 steps that I'd like to give you, and want you to see if this will help you. The first one is to have a goal. All right, if your goal, look at the politicians, if your goal is to be president, no matter what abuse is thrown at you, you sidestep it, you have thick skin, and you go forward. Okay, the more famous, the more popular you get, probably the more abuse you're going to take. There's just more people chatting about you, and that's just what happens. But, peer pressure can be for kids. Peer pressure can be adults. Speaking of politicians again, if you go and vote and maybe you don't vote for, maybe someone insults you that you vote for a certain candidate, well, you may not tell who you're voting for next time. You may not. That's why the polls get it wrong a lot, because people won't really reveal who they vote for because they're afraid of criticism or peer pressure. So, if you do it in a positive way, you kind of put a little pressure on your friends or family in a positive way, okay. But nagging at them, or how could you, or calling them a name or some sort of insult isn't going to help in your efforts to persuade a person. So if you're someone who's having a lot of, doing a lot of peer pressure, really, I would cut most of it out. But to defend against it, have a goal. Have a goal. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is another big reason why goals are so important. So we don't get distracted by outside forces. We stay focused on our target. If you have a goal to get high grades and want to go to a great college, then you become immune to what people say. People, wow, you work too hard. Oh, let's goof off. You get, no, I got to really focus. So you don't, lose track of what you're doing. If you have a goal to be a black belt or a great athlete, then the peer pressure to do destructive behavior is greatly reduced. Really, it's those people with little direction that get taken in by the crowd. So if you have a lot of direction, if you just know what you want and are focused, then peer pressure will kind of bounce off you. And people will kind of know it. Like, he isn't going to do it. He just leave him alone. They're going to know it. So very, very important that you have a goal. Second step I want to give you is be careful who you choose as friends. A lot of times we say we have friends. A lot of people are acquaintances. They're people we know, kind of hang out with a little bit, but are they friends? Are they true friends? So true friends want you to succeed. True friends will give you a good peer pressure or no peer pressure. They're not threatened if you're successful. You can really tell that about a person. And then they generally have high self-esteem if they're not threatened about you being successful. So choose your friends wisely. Next step, third step, is learn how to handle the critics and not let it affect you negatively. This is called having thick skin. That's what we adults say. If criticism is constructive, then thank them, fix whatever issue is, move on. That's what we call growth. That's fine. If it's not, examine the source that's telling you this. What are their goals in life? How do they act? How do they behave? Are they just being mean-spirited or jealous? If so, move on, avoid those people. It's very easy to be a critic. Or a Monday morning quarterback. But Zig Ziglar once said, there's never been a statue erected for a critic. So they're not really held in too high esteem anyways. So So I hope this helps with dealing with peer pressure. And again, adults, we can go through it just as much as kids can go through it. So it's something that we want to avoid. Black stripe questions. How do goals help us avoid negative peer pressure? Because they keep us focused. They keep us one direction. We don't get swayed into being pressured to do this or that. Now, maybe our direction is to be an athlete, and a coach puts a lot of peer pressure. Generally, though, it's positive. It's towards the goal we want. So usually it's good. So, so goals really help us to avoid negative peer pressure, but you might get some positive peer pressure out of it. Does your environment influence you, or do you influence your environment? Probably a bit of both, but you know, you want to be careful how much your environment influences you. So you want to, if it's positive influence, wonderful. If it's negative, not good. What kind of influences are you on your environment? Are you positive or negative? So that's something you want to think about in your day-to-day behavior. A true friend wants you to trip up, right? No, wants you to succeed. Wants the best for you. Wants you to do well. All criticism is bullying? No. Sometimes criticism is what we need. But constant criticism is, it's negative peer pressure or bullying. But every now and then, if someone tells us to straighten up and fly right, well, might be what we need. So all these areas, when you get more educated, you can delineate all the, you can get the gray area out of the black and the white. So it's very important that we really understand this. So to be immune to negative peer pressure, have a goal, be careful who you choose as friends, and just learn to not let it affect you. Have thick skin. That probably means you're successful, or you're doing the right thing, you're on the right direction. If you start getting people kind of yapping at you or angry. If you're doing something positive now, if you're hurting people and they're yapping at you and angry, some sort of action is going on, whether it's negative or positive, if you're getting a lot of peer pressure or yapping. So I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and best of success to you. See you next video.